Subject is an ITF framework for condensed OSI exercises. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Good day, everybody. The first thing I would like to say is thank you to all the authors of this contribution, George Stackwell, Peter Labac, Aled Rowlands, and Monica Primožić. The title, an ITF framework for condensed OSI exercise. Why are we talking about that? The inspection team functionality is the concept of operations on how to conduct an on-site inspection. It was designed having in mind real on-site inspections. What does it mean? No time jumps, artificial from a scenario, no 9 to 5 days, meaning at 5 we stop today, no interference from non-players, meaning no scenario telling you what to do or what not to do. So there is a perception that this framework introduced some bottlenecks during the last big exercise we had in 2024. We all, and I highlight that one, rushed because we did not have enough time. And that rushing minimized the relevance of some procedures. So 2 questions, is rushing the solution, and should an ITF framework be designed for exercises? So that's why we present it here. I do not expect you to read this one, especially if you're not familiar with ITF. We presented a detailed presentation in S&T 2023. Very quickly, information is at the center of the search logic of the inspection. And you have 3 cycles running in parallel. A logic cycle, the search logic, a decision cycle, meaning meetings, how the team takes decisions, and an operational cycle, the field team functionality, or FTF, how do we implement those missions. What we did with ITF is to provide the inspection team with a space to think and to work, limiting expert bias and noise. And once again, for details, please take a look to O4.5 301 in S&T 2023. These are some observations regarding how ITF was implemented last year during Build-Up 24. Not all missions had a clear objective. There was a bit of pressure, also external to the team, to prioritize activities over information. There was not enough time for technical discussions within groups of experts in the inspection team. There was not enough time for reporting. And there was uncertainty about what the team knew and what the team didn't know yet, especially at the beginning of the exercise. So what we did, we went through all the missions that the inspection team conducted during Build-Up 24. And it's an impressive amount of missions. If you can read the scale, the top number is 12. So for some days we have 11 missions, a few days with 10 missions, and so on and so forth. The days with less missions is probably because of some artificiality of the exercise. But the question is, did all these missions contribute to the progress of the inspection? And the answer is no. Let's take a look to the left. We made an analysis of the missions that the team conducted during Build-Up 24, and we determined which missions did not contribute to the progress of the inspection. Either because the step 1 of the functionality was not followed, meaning that maybe there was no time for the team to disseminate information. Maybe because step 2 was not properly followed, meaning that when the inspectors proposed missions, they were maybe lacking details when proposing the missions. Or maybe because of step 5. Step 5 meaning that the team lacked time to prepare for the field deployments or lacked time to prepare technical mission reports. So the numbers are different. On the left side, you have absolute numbers. On the right side, you have percentages. So there is one day, 27th of June, where we believe, and we can discuss these numbers afterwards, that 60% of the missions did not contribute to the search logic. I'm not talking here about days when there was a VIP visit, things like that, just days in which ITF was not properly followed, basically because of lack of time. What does it mean in terms of resources? We believe that the orange columns represent the daily number of inspectors deployed in the missions that did not contribute to the progress of the inspection. What does it mean? It means that 22nd of June, for example, 4 inspectors we believe they could have stayed back at the base of operations. 27th of June, if you remember the 60% that we showed in the previous slide, 7 inspectors we believe they could have spent their time at the base of operations. Why? Why does that happen? The inspection team was familiar with the inspection team functionality concept, but it was not practiced for years. There was extremely long duration of the third training cycle because of COVID. And the team, they understood the reasons about ITF, but maybe some of the team members, even present here in this room right now, did not personally experience how to implement ITF in the field. We also think that the inspection team could have benefit from more training on conducting meetings and reporting. Also, this exercise started at already day 25 of the on-site inspection. That was part of the scenario. We believe we did not give enough time to the team to read properly what we call the progress inspection report. So the team was not familiar with what the scenario had designed for the first 25 days of the inspection. And then, finally, the implementation of the logic cycle got derailed by time jams introduced by non-players, including the scenario of which I am part of it. So I'm saying here that this applies to all of us. Let's address these issues. We believe that when we conduct exercises, the time that the inspection team needs to spend at the base of operations for planning, preparation, and reporting is even more important than during real on-site inspections. Our suggestion would be conduct less field missions and devote more time to these 3 aspects. It was suggested to have additional tools to make information more visible to the whole team. We will go back to that. And we think that if the inspection team slows down the implementation of the logic cycle may be beneficial, even if that doesn't sound good, because we're telling you that you have less time, inspection team, and we are telling you to slow down. We'll show an example in the last slide. Time management, we know how important it is. How much time do I have, by the way? Hey, conveners, how much time do I have? How much time do I have?
I think you have
I'm good? Okay.
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes, okay, very good. So every meeting has an agenda. It's very important to follow that agenda. We need also, each one of us, to self-reflect and maintain awareness of time management when we take the floor during meetings. Communication tools. If you just read through the highlighted words, here we're giving you some little tips. Provide as many relevant details as possible when suggesting emissions. The inspection team should have meetings between technical inspectors. It's important to provide a clear and concise debriefing at the end of the day. Follow templates and procedures, always. Using a communication board visible to everybody without the need to switch on a computer. And encourage open feedback to create a safe space within the team when someone thinks that the inspection should go in another direction. This is an example of a communication board. How could it look like? It's based on what was designed for the second training cycle and implemented during the Integrated Field Exercise 2014. Have a big map of the inspection area. On top of it, relevant information, including how many inspectors are at the base of operations that day. Below it, which field teams you have deployed. On the top right, weather forecast. Then you have latest updates on which are the latest technical mission reports published, and any important announcement. Having such a whiteboard, we believe that would help a lot. And we were talking about implementing the ITF cycle. Why don't we implement it during 2 days? During the launch phase of an inspection, the inspection team creates an inspection plan for, let's say, 3 days. Why don't we do that even during the inspection? So, on day D, for example, today, let's start with a morning briefing of the entire team. Then some inspectors go to the field to conduct missions. the leadership has a planning meeting to check the status of the search logic. Don't have an ITLM2 that day. Continue working, everybody, producing reports, and have an evening debriefing only. The day after, you have a very quick ITLM1 to see whether there is any change on the search logic. And it's then when you have an ITLM2, when the leadership prioritizes the missions and drafts the inspection plan for the next couple of days, which is then discussed with the ISP. You don't need to do that every 2 days, but please consider spreading this ITF cycle into 2 days instead of just 1 day. So our conclusion was that there is no need to create any ITF for exercises. We believe that if the inspection team schedules the decision cycle over 2 or more days, will facilitate the conduct of the inspection. Our recommendation for the inspection team is that there is the need to prioritize planning and reporting over conducting field activities. In that way, field activities will be more efficient and provide more relevant information. And those of us who are not part of the inspection team during exercises, we need to follow what the inspection team suggests about spreading the ITF cycle over 2 or more days. We believe that efficient team communication is crucial during such exercises. Please rely on boards and things like that. And that when time is pressing, slowing down is even more important. So thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Luis. Since that we don't have the other following sessions, we think that we can open the floor for more questions. So questions? No more. Okay, so I got one indication that we are allowed to have only one question, sorry.
Thank you, Luis, for this very informative presentation, and I totally agree with all what you highlighted in the presentation, but the question how we can keep this into the organizational memory of the organization, because these are lessons learned from an exercise. It could be for future. All of us could not be there. How we can capture this into future?
Thank you for your question, Mohammed. My colleagues from PPO, they're hosting a database with lessons learned from exercises. It's a very clear database with actionable items. And I know that for a little while it was not so much used, but it has revamped after the Build-Up 24. So again, and I invite Andrew, I see you in the audience, to give some details if you want, but we have a very clear, actionable database about lessons learned from exercises, and it will be already implemented during the next training activities before IFE 26.
Thank you. Thank you all the participation.